So if people have any questions or anything, just go ahead and ask. I'm just working on my PC right now because everything decided to like crap out on me. So we're just gonna try to. We'll just chit chat. People got questions. They got anything to say, or anything, because I'm trying to make sure my computer's running smoothly so I can get these lives up and running again through my PC, because currently I haven't been able to do that because of the fact that I upgraded the computer, but the all my stuff basically got erased. So all the processes I had to basically like show people like my screen, show people like the send people links and stuff like that of anything that they may ask for, that I basically lost. So it's not just trying to basically rebuild that stuff so that basically I can be able to show it again. So that's why lately the last couple of lives have been off of my phone and not off of my computer. So we're just trying to basically recreate everything that was within the lives. So basically setting up the scenes and stuff like that, making sure that people see that it's a veteran workshop, see that it's a veteran Q&A, uh, putting all the little small bits and pieces in there so that people can understand like, hey, this is what's going on, this is what we're using, uh, this is what's currently going on in the live, so that way I can streamline it better, so that way people can understand. But if people have any questions, it's always go ahead and ask. Don't hesitate to ask any questions you may have. That's the whole point of doing these workshops. I can still provide the information through my computer. I just won't be able to show it at the moment because we're doing it live off the phone. But it's just literally recreating scenes, recreating the web sources, making sure everything is highlighted so that way everyone has the visibility to see it. Because a lot of the stuff right now, it's basically trying to do the best to make sure that people have the visibility. It's not always going to be there, but so that way when I actually show you the stuff, you can actually view it the way I'm showing it, and it's actually visible and legible for people to see. Because I asked that question if people would rather get a visual over a computer, TV, or off their phones. And I think most people, it's easier for them to jump on their phone and watch the workshops. So it's also making sure that it is a better visual for you guys. Because a lot of the times when I'm doing it, it's just like sometimes it's too small of a font or something like that. And that's something that, hey, if you guys have issues like viewing it and you can't see it, just let me know so that way I know to improve it, so that way it gives you guys a better visual of what's going on. And this will be vertical. No, I just wanted to be on, just basically be able to talk for a bit and see what anybody's doing since it is Saturday. So I know most people are just like relaxing. So it would be screen capture because I have the Adobe there, but I would have to open up Adobe. Just in case I have like PDFs and stuff to show you guys, but everything is there. But like I said, if you got any questions, don't hesitate to ask, or even if it's any topics that you guys want to talk about. Uh, this one isn't. This is one of those informal, impromptu lives, basically. So it's not something that is just like we got to stick to a topic like the workshops tend to be. This is more of a just hang out with vets. Got anything to talk about? Anything on your mind? Anything that you think is important to talk about, because there's a lot of things going on, but there's a lot of changes also. I did post that video yesterday of the DBQs being removed, and like I said, that was the one thing. Like I asked in the video, is just there's a bunch of DBQs out there, and the thing is that we don't know what these DBQs are, because the thing is a lot of those DBQs that were on that listing aren't even on the DBQ page. So, and that's the problem I have also with the VA and stuff, because it's like those are VA forms. Those are forms that can be used. But the thing is if you don't know what you're searching for, you don't know that it's available. The DBQ forms are all public. They're public documents, but nobody knows what they are or how to get to them. And then the fact that they decided to remove certain DBQs, but those DBQs were never on the DBQ website. So like the separation health assessment, part B is not there. And it never was on there. Part A is, but now they're saying they removed part B, which is like, okay, if it wasn't even on the site before, why is it not possible? The same thing with hearing and tinnitus. Hearing and tinnitus was one that caught me off guard because I went and I checked my website just to make sure, just like, let me just double check to see if I had this or I didn't have it. And then when I looked at it, it was just like, okay. So I looked at the DBQs and it didn't have it there. So you go to the ear, nose, and throat, which is separated. And the ones that they have on ear, nose, and throat is ear, vestibular, and infections, loss of sense, smell, or taste, and sinusitis, rhinitis, and other conditions. And that's what they have for the DBQs. They don't have a separate ear, nose, or they don't have a hearing loss one and stuff like that. So that's why I just found it interesting that was the case. I gotta resize these, but it's there for people to view. That's the whole purpose of the website. If you have any questions or you're interested in looking at anything, it's there for you to use. Just say in time we'll keep on growing the website, but right now it's just like I got concerning things of making sure I can graduate school in May, which is a more concerning thing, and then from there it'll be more dedication to assisting veterans the full time, because then I don't have anything to worry about because I'll have my master's degree. But besides that, it's learning these things, and window capture would be Chrome browser. Okay, so how can I make this large enough so that it's visible? Because the thing is, I can't stretch it out because then it makes it too small, right? If I make it too large, it covers most of the page, which I don't want it to do now. So if I'm looking at, let's say, the CFR, if I populate the CFR, okay, so I would have to make it, I can make it large enough, but it still blocks out some of the wording. So that's the thing. It's like trying to size it to make it like phone size is a difficult part here, because it's trying to make it so that way if I show you a CFR, I show you a PDF or something like that, that you would be able to have the visibility of seeing it on your phone and not have to like try to zoom in on it. Because I did have the ability before to zoom in, but that didn't help. So maybe if I make the font larger, if I make this larger, that works better on the other one. It also works kind of better on this. So I have to have a larger font, it seems. Thing is, let me see if I put it to fit the screen. It won't do that. It just minimizes it to a smaller point. But what's up, JC? We're just here trying to work on the stream. Trying to fix it for tomorrow at least, because tomorrow we have our workshop. I haven't been. Let's just say I've been all over the place, doing stuff. I upgraded the computer, and then when I upgraded the computer basically like the drivers and everything were conflicting. I couldn't get it to start. I couldn't get it to restart. I tried deleting the drivers, putting new drivers, and my shit just like went to shit basically. So literally all the things that we've been doing on the workshops, I have to recreate. So now it's just trying to make it so that it's visible and it works for you guys to be able to see the stuff so that y'all can see everything correctly. No, so reset that because that is not gonna work. Need this to be large enough for you guys to view, but not enough to. I think it's worse because at least he still has the cars. For me, it was like literally, this has been like a complete overwipe. It was like, so all the buttons, like how I would change scenes and all that stuff, I have to recreate all that. How I would change it so that it would be like me talking and then changing it over to like showing you the screen or the website or the links or whatever. Got to redo all of that also. So it's a process. So tomorrow, I don't know if we'll do the stream. It might be another stream off of my phone again, and just my phone. I'm gonna try to do the regular stream regular wise, but that means all day today I'm gonna be working on this. But I just wanted to go live for a bit while doing this to chat just to see how people are doing. It's Saturday, what they're up to. I know a lot of people are watching the NCAA. I haven't been paying attention to it at all for some reason. No specific reason, but I haven't really been paying attention to it. There's too much shit going on right now that it's just like I'm not too concerned with basketball, which is never like a good thing, but it's like, hey, I'm right now we got too much going on. So now hold on, I gotta turn on this camera to see if I can see myself correctly. But yeah, it's seeing all of that. Why isn't the camera populating? Okay, so now this I have to make smaller because that is way too large. Okay, so I have to make it like this to see it, but yeah. So too much stuff. These DBQs being changed, the proposed changes to tinnitus, the proposed changes to all this other stuff, and it's just like there's a lot that's changing. There's a lot going on, so it's just like I can't. My anxiety, I guess you could say, isn't letting me concentrate on stuff. It's making it difficult to try to even get homework done and stuff like that. I was supposed to travel with my family this weekend, and I was just like, I'm staying home. I'm not going anywhere. Kind of stuff. So there's just a lot of stuff changing. The VA is doing a bunch of changes. They're still doing the hiring, firing. Um, okay, cool, cool, cool. It's just some people just need assistance, man. Some people just don't know where to find the information or never heard the information. So it's just you teach people. And that's what it is. Like that. Like I always keep telling people, you're only you're only as strong as your weakest link. And not to say that people are weak, it's just people don't know what's going on. People don't know where this information is. People don't know where the documentation they should get or what they should provide or what they should include. So it's just teaching people that because I went through the experience and it was just like, look, I was I wouldn't say I was lucky enough because I'm not fucking happy at the fact that I'm all fucked up. So I'm not happy at that fact. But I was able to go through the process, but I had all my documentation. I had the imagery. I had the dislocated this. I had the x-rays of that. I had the MRIs of this. I had the sleep study. I had the migraines. I had all that stuff while in service. And the crazy thing was is I went through all that and I wasn't even thinking about as a veteran because I was thinking I'm gonna do my 20 years. I just went to sick call because it was just like, look, man, I'm under high stress most of the time because I always worked a couple of grades over my damn rank. I always did that throughout the 10 years I was there. I was just like I was in the military, I was in the army for 10 years. I picked up my 5 and 2.5. I picked up my 6 in 5, I think. Yeah, I was an NCO basically. Out of the 10 years I was in the military, I was an NCO for 7 of them. 10 years in the military, I was an NCO for 7 of them. I was a 6 for 5 years. The only reason I didn't get my 7 was because when I was gonna go to SLC, COVID hit. COVID hit, shut down my class. I was gonna go to SLC at what? At 6.5 years. So by 7, I would have had the class and I would have been promoted to that. All of COVID that year, the following year, shut shit down, and then they decided to change the whole OML listing, and then how the OML list went and all that stuff. And it was just like I was promotable by the time I got out, but it was just like if you want your 7, you have to re-enlist. Then they went ahead and did the change of, oh, if you are over 10 years and a staff sergeant, you indefinite. And I was just like, that I'm not ready for that kind of commitment yet. I was like, these 10 years that I did so far have been a good experience. I learned a lot. I was able to do a lot, learned all sorts of jobs, did all sorts of things. But it was just like another 10-year commitment. That's a lot to say, hey, I'm going to do this for 10 years. So before it was 12 years at E6, then you went indefinite. So I figured, I was just like, all right, I'm at like 9.5. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to re-enlist. I was just like, I'll re-enlist at 9.5 to do one more contract. And that one more contract would have probably been another 4 years. So that would have got me to at least 13 years. Close to 14 because I was already at 9.5. So I'm thinking, okay, if I do one more contract before that, then at the end it's just like I could see the finish line because it's only 6 more years till I can retire. Right? So it's like, you had to lie to yourself. Like, you know what? If I do 3 here, I do another 3. Then by the time I get here, it's only 6 left. I could do another 6 and be done with it. That was my thought process. But then when they changed it, that it was just like, nah, you going indefinite for the last 10 years. I was just like, meaning the military is going to pick and choose where I go to. I was just like, I wasn't a fan of that. I was just like, nah. I was just like, I went to Fort Riley, deployed, re-enlisted while in Hawaii in on the deployment. Went to Hawaii off of me choosing because it was open. I was just like, I've never been to Hawaii. I never had a chance. I'm going. Did that. My window opened up again. As soon as it opened up, had Germany. I was just like, I'm traveling to the places I never in my life thought I was going to go. See, look. It was just like you get there and it was just like I was just like I was very hesitant at that point. I was just like, you know what? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do like not that I don't want to do it, but it was just like this is a long-term commitment. And it was just like I just had a newborn and it was just like I didn't get to see my first one or my second child. I didn't get to hang out with my second child. I didn't get to see her grow. I was in Germany while they were back home. So it's just like, do I want to do this all over again? Do I want to go through the process of not seeing another one of my kids grow because the military decides to do what they want to do? And I was just like, that wasn't something I wanted to do. It was just like, it's something that took me, it takes a toll mentally, especially because of the fact that it was just like, if it weren't for the fact that my family had to come back for medical reasons, back to the States, and they would have been with me those last couple of years I was in the military, I would probably still be in the military right now. But I think what's up, Annette? I think the toll that it took on me, that it was just like I was away from my family for 3 years, basically. I went through COVID and all that away from my family. So going through the mental process of having a newborn kid, wife, family overseas in New York City, which is, congested as hell, dealing with COVID. And then I'm stuck in Germany where they don't even let me go off base because of COVID. So it was just like, that was a very strong mental toll on me. It was just like, this takes me away from my family. It takes me away from this. And it was just like, I can't do shit about it. I was just like, it was tough because it was just like, I had to make sure to send the paperwork, do all this stuff just to go see my kid be born. That was just like, and that's what I think it took a toll on me, because that's why it was just like I spent 4 years in Germany, and 3 of those years, the last 3 years, it was me without my family. So they got there the first year, had medical issues that they had to go back to. Then the last 3 years I was in Germany on my own. The only thing that kept me sane was the people I basically worked with. Those are the only people that kept me sane. But then the same people that I worked with were some of the same reasons I wanted to get out, because it was trash. It was trash leadership. I was just like, I was working as the fucking battalion. I was the S3 basically. I was a staff sergeant operating a battalion of like 1,800 fucking people. The only CSSB out in Germany is 18 CSSB. I was the only one doing it. I was the one managing all the operations. So all the Defender series that they kept on doing, I was overseeing that. The Afghan evacuee, the Allies refuge, or whatever the hell they wanted to call that shit, when they were bringing all the Afghani people out of there, I was in charge of that shit too. I was the fucking master driver for a fucking battalion of 18 fucking hundred people, yet they had two fucking truck companies. I was chemical. I was fucking chemical. You had two truck companies full of 88 mics, and you picked the chemical dude to fucking be the master driver. Yeah, I was managing that shit show, JC. I was the one running operations, making sure shit was sent this way, sent that way. Oh, y'all needed water, food. Oh, you need soldiers to overwatch these people and make sure they're there, like communicate, hand out the food and stuff like that. I was the one making sure that shit was going through. I was just like, I got worked like a fucking dog, basically. And it was just like, I left. You know, the crazy thing is I did that. I did all the Defender series. I worked directly with the British Army when it came to all that. Directly with the British Army. I was basically a liaison, and I was the mayor cell as a fucking staff sergeant, working directly with the British Army when it came to the rotations of those things. I didn't get an award. You know what that is? I did all that as the operations. I left without no, I wasn't there was no civilians. It was literally me as the only green suitor, basically managing all the shit when people were coming through, bringing in the fucking Abrams tanks, bringing in all the LMTVs, the PLSs, all that shit to prepare for this training exercise. I was the one running everything with them. I didn't get no fucking awards. I ETS'd. I didn't get no awards. I was just like, so hold on. You mean to tell me I busted my ass for 4 years in this battalion, making sure everything worked, making sure everybody else looked good, and y'all couldn't even give me a fucking ETS award? Y'all weren't even planning to give me a decent fucking award for PCSing if I had chose to reenlist. Talk about they were trying to give me an RCOM. I was like, a RCOM? I'm like, I worked with fucking foreign countries, and you trying to give me an RCOM? I was working at the division level as a contract officer, making sure that there was fuel for these exercises and resource and shit, and working with fucking KBR, the contractors, directly to make shit done. And it was just like, y'all trying to give me an RCOM? I didn't even get it when I ETS'd. And I was just like, this is the shit. And I was just like, so hold on. You want me to do this for another 10 fucking years? You want me to do this for another 10 fucking years where I've been working my ass off because of the fact that I don't have my family with me. It's the only reason I'm working this hard, because I need to fucking find a distraction. And my distraction was making sure I did work. And then y'all don't even give me any fucking kind of fucking recognition. I was just like, and you want me to sign up and do this as a Sergeant First Class, or I'm going to go be efficient, manage all this shit, probably manage another platoon, which I was already doing also. And it was just like, and y'all don't even want to give me a fucking award. Y'all want to give me an RCOM. But the person that's supposedly supervising me, which was the fucking Sergeant First Class, didn't do shit, and y'all were giving him an MSN. I lost it after that shit. I was just like, nah, I'm done. I'm done. After that, it was just like my last year in Germany, because that's what it was just like, kid was born, all that, and then it was just like me and my wife were talking about it because it was just like, hey, it's reenlistment window, and I was thinking, I was just like, you know what? I was like, I put my options and stuff. I even put, I think like I put Panama as one of them. Like I put a couple of like the Spanish speaking places because I'm like, I'm Spanish. I could talk Spanish. I could read it, write it. So I was like, hey, maybe that would be like one of those extra broadening assignment. I even did fucking OCT in Irwin. I don't know if they changed the name or not, but I did OCT at Irwin on multiple rotations going over to fucking NTC. And I did one at JRTC also. So it's just like I did all that. I didn't have the actual designation for the thing. So I was just like, I don't mind teaching. As y'all can see, I don't have any problem with teaching. So that's what I do. So I was just like, so everything came down and I didn't get none of the options I wanted. So they were like, we can give you an instructor position. And I was just like, you know what? This wouldn't be too bad. Because the one person I worked with in the chem unit, he was there. He was one of the lead instructors. So I knew I would be working with somebody that I mentored and he mentored me. So I knew that would have been a great fucking opportunity. And it's funny because it's funny because he didn't realize that it was me they were talking about when they were going over there. Because I was thinking about it, and that, like I said, it was just like, we're going to go through this process. This unit has already got me on my last nerve, and you want me to do another 10 years? I was just like, yeah, it's going to be an easy job because it's being an instructor. I'm not going to do nothing crazy, nothing, just instructing and doing that. And I'm going to work with somebody I know I can get along with, and I know is great to be a co-worker with. But at the same time, it was just like, I don't want to do that. I was just say, if I go to Fort Leonard Wood, I go Fort Leonard Wood. It's Fort Leonard Wood. What the fuck is around Fort Leonard Wood? I was just like, how you go from Germany to Fort Leonard Wood? That's a very fucking drastic change that you just like, you know what? I don't even know if I want to do this. How you go from seeing all these fucking old historical buildings, castles, all this architecture and all that stuff to Fort Leonard Wood? And then to be stuck there. I would have been there for 3 years. I would be like, oh, this is going to be an easy 3 years. But that's where it was just like, if it weren't for the fact that they changed it, that it was, you had to be, after 10 years as a staff sergeant, you would have to go in depth. If they would have kept it at 12, that contract through that school and being an instructor would have gotten me past that point. And then from there, it was just like, you know what? I would have been a sucker and I'd be like, you know what? This has been a good year, 3 years. I would have already had my Sergeant First Class because I would have shipped over there with a Sergeant First Class already. And then my boy, he's like, he was talking to a Sergeant Major. He was like, look, man, I need somebody else here. Because the thing is, he's just like, it's funny because we were talking about the situation, but I didn't realize I was going to go work for him. And he didn't realize I was going to be the one that they were sending there. So the sergeant major goes and talks to him. He's like, yeah, man, I sent this guy the email and stuff like that. And he responded. And he was like that, nah, he's gonna decline the orders because he's gonna ETS. Mind you, the sergeant major told him that, and he was like, yeah, man, I was supposed to get somebody over here. It was supposed to be like a staff sergeant, had time and shit like that. It was just like, he told me sergeant major was just like he fucking retiring or some shit, or he med boarding, so he ain't coming over here. And then I was just like, hold up. I was like, Sergeant Major so-and-so? And he was like, yeah. I was just, how'd you know? That was me. He was like, hold on, what? He was like, nah, bro, you gotta tear that fucking deck statement apart. You ain't signing that shit. It was like, you coming over here with me. And I was just like, I didn't fucking know. I didn't know that was gonna be the issue. I didn't know I was gonna be working with him. If I would have known ahead of time before I signed that deck statement that I was gonna be working with him, I would have probably re-enlisted. Because I knew that would have been a great thing. Like, our families knew each other. They hung out with each other. The kids knew each other. I was just like, this would have been a great opportunity. But I didn't know any better. And it was just like, look, I've been away from my family. My last year, I decided, you know what? I told my wife, it was like, look, we started house hunting because it was just like we're gonna come back to the States. And I was just like, even if they put me at Riley, I would have taken Riley because I know the area. For Leonardwood, I was like, I don't know this area. I've been there plenty of times because it's for Leonardwood. I'm chemical, so that's my home basically. But it was just like if we're going back to Riley, we buy a house. But then it got to the point where it's just like, if we buy this house, I'm getting the fuck out. I was just like, I've been away from my family too long. I'm getting the fuck out. We'll figure it out after the fact. I'm gonna get out, and then bought the house. I went back to Germany that last year. Ain't nobody tell me shit. That's what it was just like, when you've worked your ass off for fucking so long that you just got so tired of it. I just became the biggest shitbag. I wouldn't even say I was a shitbag. I became a shitbag that last year. I didn't do anything to fucking assist or help when it came to orders, the fragos, the fucking op boards coming down. I was just like, I did the bare fucking minimum. Bare minimum. I was just like, look, I'm getting out. I'm going to be doing my fucking SFL tap classes. I'm going to be getting my shit together. If y'all need me, y'all can call me. I showed up every day to fucking PT. I did PT every single morning. Didn't miss anything. Shit. I even showed up to PT when I was clearing. Just so nobody would give me any shit. And it was just like, look, I'm leaving. You better start training somebody the fuck up. And it was just like, oh, we're going to get somebody's going to become the master driver. I was just like, okay, have they gone to the course? Oh, so they haven't gone to the course. So then they can't fucking do the job because you have to have the course to be at this level. All right, y'all delayed it all this time. Nobody. I was just like, you got 2 truck companies. You got a whole company of about 250 people that are fucking 88 mics. That this is all they do is drive trucks. And you mean to tell me you couldn't have picked one of them to replace me? And then when they did decide to find somebody, I was already like 3 months out. Mind you, because of COVID, because of not being able to travel and all that, I saved all my fucking leave days. So I had all my leave days. I had 99 leave days. Because you in Germany, you get 4 days all the time. You just take a fucking pass or you just go across the country. 250-mile radius is not that far in Germany. You just go travel here, travel there, see this, see that. I collected all that leave. So basically, I left 3 months early from the time I was doing it. So when I had a year left, I only had 9 months left. And then from there, bought the house. And then from there, it was just like, you know what? Since I am getting out, I need to learn about this veteran shit. I need to learn about this. And I wasn't even paying attention to it too much. Because the thing is, it's just like, that doesn't process into your thought process when you're getting out until you actually start doing the SFL tap classes. So once you start doing the SFL tap classes, it's just like, oh shit, I'm going to be a veteran. What the fuck do I do now? They're just like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to learn? How am I supposed to learn this shit? I was just like, you're thinking, because it's just like, I signed up for all them classes because it's just like, hey, I've been in the military. I joined at 27. So I already knew how civilian life worked. But I have been far removed for 10 years of policy changes, work changes, just fucking requirements and all this stuff. And it was just like, I got my bachelor's, so I'm just like, all right, this is going to help. And then you start seeing how everywhere it was just like, bachelors don't mean shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm just like, this might be a bad idea. So I second guess myself at times. It's just like, maybe I should have just re-enlisted. But then it's just like, nah. I get to walk my kids to school. I get to take my kids to school. I get to pick up my kids from school. I get to take them to doctor's appointments. If they get sick, I can be there with them. I don't have to ask another grown-ass man, hey, I need to go. I don't got any of those worries. I don't gotta be forced to fucking wake up and do PT when I'm already fucking injured. Went through that process, but it was just like, you see that and you notice that it's just like that shit wasn't like it was worth it, but at the same time it's just like I didn't know none of this shit. So it was just like I started watching YouTube, started asking questions, started asking different vets. Some vets had good information, some didn't. A lot of people aren't great teachers or don't know how to teach or how to educate people on certain things. So it's like you ask them, they just give you a quick answer and then call it a day. But it was just like I was just like, all right, I'm getting out. I need to understand what this is. It's just like, how am I going to use my GI Bill? What do I have to do to use my GI Bill? It was just like, when am I going to enroll to school? It's just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna take this first year off just to try to fucking bring some sanity to myself and enjoy being around my family the whole time and acclimate myself from not being around my family to being around a 1 year old, being around a 6 year old. And it was just like where the last times I had seen them, not that I hadn't seen them between the time and go through that, then getting into a fucking my only car wreck, um, while on mission basically to go get a fucking shoots and sneers badge, um, and it's just like going through that whole process. You go through it, go to SFL tap, and it's just like I just didn't give a fuck at that point. I was just like, what exactly are y'all gonna do to me? I was just like, I know y'all ain't gonna try to write me up. I was just like, you didn't even write me up in a positive way for all the shit I did do. So if you try to write me up for anything negative going forward, I'm gonna call you out on all the shit you fucking didn't do. And I just put it like that. It was just like, hey, Cruz, you got time today? It was like, nah, man, I got a fucking class. I'll stop in if you need me to, but I got class and I got shit I gotta take care of. And it was like, oh no, it's all good. And they just left me the fuck alone because it's just like they knew how hard I fucking worked, but then they knew it was just like, yeah, we kind of slighted this dude by not trying to give him a fucking MSM. So this dude is fucking, he don't give a shit. It was like he shows up to PT, he's on a fucking profile. I still had a fucking tear in my fucking labrum. They were just like, you know what? He can't even fucking run. It was just like, we're not gonna tell this dude to do because this dude was always telling people what not to fucking do, and he didn't care the rank. I didn't give a shit who the rank was. It was just like if you were doing something that was wrong, against regulation, I'll let you know. I got into it with my sergeant major at one point because he was just like, hey man, is there any way to get around this whole like certifying shit? And I was just like, no. I was like, you put me as the fucking master driver. This is the fucking policy. This is the regulation, and this is how it has to be done. There's no way around it. There's no look. If you want people to pencil whip shit, you can do it. I'm not putting my name on something just to pencil whip it. And if you do want me to do that, you need to provide me with a memorandum telling me that you and the commander is absolving all risk of me putting a person to be licensed on something that I didn't even train them on, didn't even check right them on. Like it was just craziness. It was just like you can see like the corruptness of shit. It was just like because y'all were lazy and didn't want to do the shit the right way the first time. It ended up being that you wanted to like circumvent stuff and make it worse. And I'm just like, nah, I'm not gonna be a part of this shit. I'm not putting my name on it. I was just like, and that's when I was still thinking I was gonna re-enlist. But it was just like, imagine me re-enlisting and somebody gets into an accident and it's just like, oh, Cruz, you put that on their license. Where's the documentation? Oh, we didn't have a documentation. It was like, there goes my fucking career. I was just like, no. I was like, you can do that with your own shit, not with mine. But like things like that, it was just like things people didn't fucking realize. Yeah, I know. It was just like, but that's the thing. It was just like they didn't like people that didn't fucking. I wasn't a yes man. They didn't like the fact that I wasn't a yes man. I was just like, when fucking commanders, when I fucking pushed out orders and stuff like that, and commanders couldn't give me a fucking timely answer, or they couldn't give me the documentation I needed, or the stuff on time, and then it got to brigade and division late, I wasn't taking that ass chewing. I was just like, I did my fucking job. You got this shit fucking a week earlier than you were supposed to, and you were here a week late after. Hey, XO, I've been waiting for this shit for this thing, then like that, and they just got their ass chewed by the fucking battalion XO. I was just like, I know I can't go straight up and chew you out. I get somebody else to fucking do it. You ain't gonna come at me. And my XO loved me because every time it was something with like brigade, hey, brigade sent down this. hey, XO, Brigade's telling us to do this. And she'd be like, fuck no. Who said this? Yo, I love that lady. That lady would just call up and be like, so my operations is telling me that you are trying to get us to do this. I'm just letting you know we ain't fucking doing it. She would be straight up, and I was like, damn. I was just like, that lady, I run through a wall through that lady, because that lady did not take any shit from anybody. She just like, she was just straight up, and then she was just like, she protected you when you needed protecting, and she chewed you out when you needed to be chewed out. But that was like, certain leadership like made you like, you know what, the army can be great. And then you had certain leadership that's like, damn, how the fuck did this person get promoted? And you can't even explain that shit. It's like, how the fuck did this person make it here? It's like, you mean to tell me that they picked you up? I was just like, man, I'm gonna have this shit easy. I was just like, that's what it came down to me. It was just like, they picked this person up. I was just like, you can see with my hard work, it was just like, there's not many people that it's like, it's basically unheard of for fucking anybody in the military to get their 7 in 7 or 8 years. And that's what I was gonna do till COVID fucked it up. It was me and my boy that we were in the same unit. This dude was the fucking supply, ended up working as PBO, which is a fucking chief's job. It's a fucking warrant officer's job. And this dude was doing it for a battalion of 1,800 people. We were operating 9 different fucking companies, and we were standing up another one. And he was in charge of all that. So he was going to get promoted. I was going to get promoted. We were both going to go to SLC, and then COVID hit. Fucked our whole careers. Fucked our whole careers up. It was just like we were working over everybody. But it's just like, you mean to tell me this person here got promoted, and they haven't been able to do shit, and I've been working my ass off, and then I don't even get anything? I was like, nah, I'm done. I was like, I'm good, bro. I was like, y'all can have it. I was like, I went back to the office that last year, and it was just like the sergeant that she was under me, that she was basically working, that when they decided to actually give me another fucking person, it was just like, I just taught her up. That was it. If she asked for help, if it was anybody in the fucking S shops that needed my help, I didn't spend no, if it was one of the soldiers. If it was like a fucking NCO, like a sergeant first class or lieutenant or something like that, I was like, bro, I ain't got time. I ain't got time. If a soldier asked for help, what you need? If it was anybody else, I was like, nah, I ain't wasting my time listening to y'all. I was just like, for what? I was just like, you a fucking senior NCO or you a fucking officer. You shouldn't be asking for my fucking help. You should be doing it yourself. I should be asking you for help or mentorship, not the fucking other way around. I was just like, fuck no. I was like, that's what makes shit fucking so difficult. It was just like, man, I was just like, this is what's going on right now. This is how leadership is. And I was just like, nah, I'm not doing this. So that last year, I basically became a shitbag. I was like, I had a year left. I knew I had 3 months of leave. So I knew I had 9 months. So then that cut into my BDD process, because you could only do it from 180 days to 90 days. The 90-day mark I was going to go through because of the fact that my leave from my ETS date was already going to be through that. So it was just like, all right, I got to go through this process. But then the thing that saved me was, I guess, it's just I had all my shit documented. Everything was already in service, and I had documentation. I had all the dislocation. Everything that happened was on file. The problem I had was I didn't know what the fuck I was filing. I didn't know what the CFR was. I had never seen the CFR. I was like, you know what it is to tell somebody who's just like, oh, there's something you can read that can help you with it, but they don't know what the fuck it is. I was just like, this SFL tab. And then the thing is I don't know how the experience is of getting out of the military is in the States. Because in the States, you have VSOs. In the States, you have the American Legion. You have the VFW. You have the DAV. You have all those resources to actually go and reach out to them and ask questions. Whereas in Germany, you had a VFW post, but they didn't have a VSO. They didn't have anybody that did claims. They didn't have anywhere in Germany, whether it was fucking Ramstein, fucking Launchstuhl, Graf, Smith Barracks, Tower Barracks, whichever place you were at, they didn't have anybody to actually educate service members on disability. So it's like I don't know how the process is here. So that's why I always like to ask people, like, hey, if you're getting out through the process, like, hey, if you could just explain like how the shit goes, or like how you got taught, or what gets taught in those SFL tap, those transition classes, just to see like, all right, what is actually going on? Like, what did you learn? What did they teach you? What did you find out after you got out and went through that process that you didn't know that they didn't teach you in the first place? So it's like things like that. It was just like, oh, okay. I was like, most people don't get that information. So it's just like, oh, okay, now let's figure it out. Let's start looking at this stuff. Let's start looking at this information. It's just like what's available, what can be taught, what do people learn off of, what is beneficial to people. And that's why I was just like, you know what, this is something that I know I can continue to do. And it's just like, yeah, make a little business out of it. But like I said, I don't want to charge veterans because I'm not filing for it. The only thing I might end up doing is maybe I do like a seminar or something, and then maybe I charge there or something like that. But most of the stuff is just like, it's free information, but it's just like the teaching part I understand to be able to charge people for, because it's like it is me doing stuff with my time to teach. But that's why I do the free workshops, but those are more like concentrated on specific topics. If I do like a seminar, it's going to be something like, hey, you join the seminar, I'm going to go through the process, explain what your paperwork should look like, what the disability should look like. I even give you some homework, and then the next day do the second part of it, and just be like, okay, after the homework I gave you, what are your questions? And then make it like the second day is just a Q&A of anybody asking questions and stuff like that. But the first day is just actually teaching people the stuff. Then the second day is just like, hey, I'm going to answer your specific questions now that you have a better understanding of what you need to be doing. Because the thing is like I said, you don't know what you don't know. So most people I know tune into the workshops and they're just like, they just listen. They don't say nothing. They don't message or anything because it's just like, you know what? I don't even know what to ask this dude. He knows what he's talking about. I'm gonna just let him talk. Well, because that's what I do the workshops for, JC, because it's different topics. But I think with the seminar, I think it would be better to just benefit like for veterans and teaching them like, okay, this is what you need to do. So these are the steps that you first need to do. This is the stuff that needs to be included. There's the documentation you need to know about. This is what a nexus letter should look like. This is how a DBQ should be filled out. This is what the CFR is, like that. And go through that. And then the next day is like, hey, off of everything that we learned yesterday, with all these topics, all these points of discussion and all that stuff, what questions do you have? And then doing it that way. So now it's just like, hey, you know what your paperwork is supposed to look like. You know what your nexus letter is supposed to look like. You know what the CFR is. You know what the DBQ is. You know where to find it, the links, the sites, and all that stuff. And now it's just like, all right, off of everything you've learned to your specific case, what questions do you have? Because for some people, just with that part one, it's just like you just teaching them those basic steps. For a lot of veterans, it's just like, oh, I didn't know it was this. I didn't know it was that. I didn't know it had to look like this. I didn't know you could use this. So now it's questions being more specific because it's like, all right, that first day is teaching you that stuff. Now that second day is off of what you've learned and you were probably doing some research because like I said, I'm going to make you do some homework. And it'll probably be like, hey, I need you to identify 5 diagnostic codes that off of your medical records you can actually claim. And do something like it's like an instructional kind of thing. Because the thing is it's difficult to do it here. Because the thing is it's just like I can't really. It's going off of text messages. So off of text messages, a person can't really explain as well as they should be able to. But if I'm doing something like on Zoom, let's say, or Skype, whichever one allows me to have like a multitude of a number of people, it was just like, all right, we'll go down the line. And if you have any questions, ask away. So, hey, you're number one. What's the questions you might have came up with after what we discussed and what you learned? Oh, this, and that. Because the thing is, you got to remember, once you have people making sure to ask questions, it makes it easier for me to learn. It makes it easier for me to explain. But then you're also teaching somebody else off of a question that you are asking. So that's why in the workshops, I always tell people, it's just like, even if it's not on topic, just ask the question and make the statement. Because the thing is you may be a veteran that has that question, but there may be another one that has the exact same question. Same thing, they just didn't know how to put it into words. Or they were too shy to do it. It was just like, damn, I don't want to feel like a dumbass and try to answer these questions and then get it wrong. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking, and that's why I was thinking of doing it that way, because it's just like, then it's just, this is a class I am charging for. So it's an educational purpose thing. These workshops is just like, they random and they don't stay on topic a bunch of the times. And that's on me also, but that I don't mind doing that. But if it's like a seminar, this is just like, no, this is the table of contents. This is what we're gonna go over. This is gonna be your part. This is your homework. This is what you need to do. Next day, let's work on it there and just comprehend. And then like that I will charge just to have people do it that way. So that way it's just like, yes, I am using my knowledge to help teach people, but I'm also making money off of it because I'm actually taking the time to teach people to do this. Whereas the workshops, I just do these because it's just like, hey, I jump on live for 2 hours, people show up. It was just like, I tell people, yeah, it's something, and it's gonna be something like simple like that. And then, because the thing is I'm not trying to charge like some, I've seen some places it's just like, I know there's a lady I know that she does $100 for her seminars. And I'm just like, $100 for a seminar. I was just like, if I do that times 30 people, shit. You get what I'm saying? It's just like, that shit will add up quick. And I was just like, damn, I didn't even know. Hold on, somebody's at my doorbell. Give me 1 second. Okay, there you go. And that's the only reason I was staying. And it was just like, I'll charge because it's my time. When it comes to these workshops that I do on Sundays, it's just like, oh, I know people don't like to pay money. But the thing is let's say I can make it a simple charge. I would say maybe like $20. 20 to 25 bucks. That I think will be what I would charge. And that's for basically like almost like a 2-day thing. 25 bucks. And then as more people start asking for it, then I might increase it slowly. But 25 bucks, you get to learn all this stuff. And it was just like, look, at the end of the day, the way I see it is you pay 25 bucks to help you earn thousands of dollars a month. Because the thing is I'm not filing it for them. I'm not assisting with your file. I'm not going in there and doing an intent to file and do all of that. I was just like, I am here to educate you so you have a better understanding and you do it well. And I have a bunch of fucking people that can testify that me just teaching them that stuff has helped them with their claims. Has everybody got in there? No. Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying that's the only reason I would charge. Because the thing is with YouTube, it's like, hey, I get paid on YouTube off of views. If people watch the stuff, I make some money off of it. I ain't making tons. I'm not making thousands of dollars like these loan sharks and these fucking other entities. I don't do that. Oh no, Annette, I already have the LLC. That's already done. That's already done. It's the Veteran Awareness Project LLC. I already have that. That's already in play. That's already been done. That's how I started this channel, because I wanted to make it a business entity and I didn't want to make it that it was just like my personal stuff. So that's why it's already there. So the Veteran Awareness Project is an LLC. So basically everything that goes through here, when I make purchases, business purchases to do this, to do the lives, it goes through the LLC. So that's why it's just like, I did that in plan just in case I wanted to expand. Hey, we're going to do a seminar. Well, this is the Veterans Awareness Project seminar. We run it twice a month or something. I don't know. But the thing is, it's just like I haven't thought that far in that because it's just like I need to get this master's degree done. It was just like once I'm done in May, you're gonna be tired of seeing my face. That's what I'm gonna put it like. You're gonna be tired of seeing my face because I'm gonna be able to be on the whole time. I'm not gonna have the restrictions just like shit. I gotta read all this damn paperwork. I gotta do all this research to do these papers. I gotta finalize this and stuff like that. I ain't gonna have that problem. When it comes to research, developing stuff, I'm gonna have all the time to invest into the Veteran Awareness Project. So that's why it's there. I was just like, but this is just it's a separate entity. And that's why I was just like, that's the only one of the reasons was like I did that consultation with you in that, but then I realized the thing is it's just like I can help assist people, but the thing is I don't want it to be that it's just like people are gonna be like, you know what? I got to this point because Cruz told me to do it this way. I don't want that. I don't want it to be that way. So that's why I was just like, that's why I was just like, I wanted to do that. I was just like, it's good to teach people, but at the same time, it's just like what I teach people, what they do with it, that's what they do with it. And that's why I made it as an LLC because it's just like a lot of these people, like, look, a lot of these channels, and it was just like I learned from what people taught me and what they said and this stuff like that. And it was just like I don't want to be associated with anything negative wise when it comes to teaching veterans. If it's to teach you, you learn this, you learn that, we'll do it that way. The seminar will strictly be on disability claims. The workshops will most likely just start becoming more of a hey, this is a benefit and we are going to go through the whole benefit. So if it's like, hey, we're going to do VA loans, the whole workshop, it'll be me breaking it down like step by step on using the VA loan. Oh, GI Bill, breaking down the GI Bill. The VRE, breaking down the VRE. Stuff like that so that way is more specific, but the seminars are just going to be like, hey, disability claims, disability claims. Especially now with these upcoming changes that is about to come, like disability claims is going to be crazy. With all these possible changes to tinnitus, where they're saying that I saw somewhere yesterday, I think it might have been Chat GPT that I asked to search for it. And it sent me to a link um of like a law firm. I have a like a little short video too that I did that on that. It's just old. I probably just need to redo it. But like the with the changes that are coming, because it's Tucker Disability Law, which is a VA claims like lawyer group or something. Because I was just researching it and I was looking at it and I was just like, okay. And they were saying what the disability changes are, which is mental health, sleep apnea, and tinnitus. And it was just like they were saying that there's going to be a stricter VA rating for sleep apnea, which they're saying that you may only get a 10% rating even though you have a CPAP machine. So it's no longer going to be 50. It's going to be a 10% rating. Then they're talking about also the whole possibility of eliminating tinnitus. So tinnitus is only going to be if it's tied to something else that's compensable, is what they're saying basically. So you have to have an ear issue that is connected to tinnitus in order for you to receive tinnitus. What else do they have? The presumptive conditions are going to keep on expanding the more they keep on doing it. That's why I know they have a lot of these things that they're asking veterans to be part of, like the research, so that they can see like the demographic, who has it, what area, and stuff like that, to raise it that way. Um, the mental health one is going to be different because it's going to be they're more concerned now with the system, like the symptom severity, like how bad your symptoms are, instead of paying attention to how socially and occupationally impaired you are. But then they're doing it into different facets. So they're having like social, they're having like um physical and stuff like that. So they're changing a bunch of the criteria. But like I said, till the stuff isn't out in writing and it isn't implemented into the CFR, there's no solid, yes, this is the change happening, this is what's going to happen. And like I was saying yesterday, a lot of the stuff, they're going to start using AI a lot more to try to streamline things, which can or cannot work. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work. And on here, they also said that there might be filing deadlines and new requirements. So it's going to be different when you're filing. Um, so I think those seminars are come in handy because of all these upcoming changes. So that's the thing with these upcoming changes. It depends, because the thing is that's a big difference. If you have sleep apnea and you have a CPAP machine and that shit is gonna go from a 50% to lower, that changes a lot. That 40% decrease is a lot. That is a big jump to try to like obtain. And then with tinnitus, if you don't have tinnitus connected to something else, that's at least 10% you losing out on, which is usually a 10% you always get. Now, the biggest thing is just more people think that because of mental health changes, more people are going to be able to obtain higher ratings through mental health because of the fact that it's just like it's more on symptoms and like what's happening more than the impairment of it, which I don't have a full understanding of that. But like I said, I'm waiting for the shit to come out so that I can fully read it, understand it, so that way it can be explained better. Because right now, there's different categories, different symptoms. You're going to be going, they're saying it's going to be going from like 1 to 4, the number that it is of severity. And that's how they're going to add. It's a whole bunch of. Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. That's one of the biggest things right now that's going to cause a lot of issues. That's going to be one of the bigger issues that we have is trying to make sure that that's there, because it's going to be hard to obtain that. It's going to be hard to put that into play, because there's going to be like you said, there's going to be issues where you're going to run into issues because of the fact that Social Security may change, VA changes. So let's say you have a 99, if they change sleep apnea, then you got no. So basically what they're doing is that they're grandfathering you in. That's the biggest change right now. So the thing is they're not talking about, but the thing is who fucking knows? What if these people decide, you know what, we're gonna reevaluate everybody. Right now, if you have it, they're basically saying you're good, you're grandfathered in, they're not gonna change it. So basically, if you file before these changes take place, I believe, unless they change it, because you never know, they can change the policy as they do. As you can see how policies are changing nowadays. They can change it to that version of it. So it could be that, hey, right now, if you file before the changes, you will fall under the old rating scale. If you file once that effective date takes place, you are falling into the new scale. So supposedly the final action date is supposed to be April for these for this. So it's just like it's supposed to be the final action date is for that date. That's what they said. That was just like final action date was April of 2025 for tinnitus and sleep apnea. We haven't heard anything else. They haven't announced anything else. I haven't seen any changes to it. So that's the thing. There hasn't been anything written out there, so that's why I was just like, you know what? I was just looking at it because you got to wait for that final action day, and that's why I've been telling people. It's just like you can't go off of people saying that, oh, this is when it's going to change, when they haven't made a statement on when it's going to change. You have all these issues, but nothing has been solidified. Nothing has been put in writing in the CFR saying the effective date of the changes to this is going to happen. Yeah, that's how they want to get people, Annette, because they want people to be the TBI test entails. No, I do not know what that entails. I am not entirely sure what. I need a fucking nap. What the TBI test entails, I do not know. Let me see if I can find something for you though. So nothing for TBI. The fuck? Well, the thing is the thing is Annette, for the younger generation, it's easier not to fucking have them involved and know what's going on because most of these people are still serving. So the thing is all these things and all these changes, some of these people are not going to be affected by it till they get out, and by the time they get out, all these changes are going to be implemented. Because the thing is they're trying to make it tougher for people to get that, but then it's also the whole privatization of it. Because if you privatize the medical stuff, that means it's just like, you know what? Hey, you're a veteran. It's not fucking service connected, but you can go through the VA and we can charge you. You see what I'm saying? Like that's what it's gonna end up becoming. It was like I wouldn't be surprised if they start changing that. It's just like, oh, just because you're 100% PNT, you don't have to pay for something else. I was like, we're gonna cover what you have disability connected for, but we're not gonna cover everything else. Examinations. I'm trying to look at the M21-1 JC to see if I can find anything on the. But that's the forces and determine issues and. So hold on. I think I can post this to you. Give me a sec. Check that link out, JC. Because that has traumatic brain injury, and that's off the M21. So it goes through like the definition, events, training and signature requirements for decisions, temporary total, additional TB signs and symptoms, reevaluation, example of evaluating TBI with comorbid conditions, multiple evaluations and pyramiding cases. I'm not sure what's in there. I just found that in the M21. So that would probably be a resource that it'll explain, because this is what they use to basically evaluate you and stuff. So it may be in that somewhere. I can't be too sure, but it's at least a way to a place to start. Stress. See the evaluation part, but I see it more for like PTSD, evaluating TBI and comorbid symptoms, evaluation of so they have evaluation of TBI residuals. Okay, so no, it should be additional evaluations be appropriate to sign as provided. Says evaluating the initial severity of TBI, structural imaging of the brain, such as magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, or positron emission tomography scans, loss of consciousness, alteration of consciousness, mental state, including disorientation, post-traumatic amnesia, including any loss of memory, and Glasgow Coma Scale, which provides a measurement of the degree of coma at or after 24 hours. Then it just kind of explains that the TBI does not need to meet all the criteria listed under a certain initial severity level in order to classify the TBI under that severity level. So yeah, that might be able to assist you, so you can read into that and then just look at that and see what it tells you. It has the information, but like the thing with the M21, it's always like this is what the raters use. So it might not give you exactly, because this is what they're using to evaluate you, but then at least it's another resource that you can use that allows you to do that. But yeah, that's mostly it, really. Not much else. I'm trying to. So I have to make this and then. Because if we're making sure, I have to add the words here also. But I need to make it smaller so I can do this. But yeah, that's mostly it. I'm just trying to, because the M21 is another resource that most people don't know about. It's best most of the time once you get on that site, it's just best to use the actual search at the top, because if you search within the M21, sometimes the shit doesn't want to populate for you for some reason. Because I tried looking it up just now, like within it, and it didn't really want to give me topic. Now it's doing it, but earlier it was not. Because then it just takes you to the CFR and it just says examination, but it's not the part we're looking for. See, and this is why I'm working on my computer, because instead of me being able to like tell you the stuff, I would have been able to show you what I was looking at. So that's why I'm working on this and chatting with y'all, because then it gives me the ability to pull the stuff up, and it's just like, okay, here's the information. This is where I found it. This is where I seen it, and we go from there. Posted no older. Neurologic examination to evaluate cognitive function, reflexes, and motor skills, CT scan or MRI, imaging test to identify structural brain injuries. Thank you, Annette. Yeah. Because it's basically they're gonna test. Now there you will have a CMP exam. Huh, this is something I didn't know had come out. Document comments. So they're trying. So okay. It was like also if you go to regulations.gov, you can start looking up stuff there and see stuff. Because they're proposing changes and stuff like that. The thing is these are with the regulations is like stuff that they're planning, but the thing is you don't know if it's gonna go through, if they're gonna accept it, and stuff like that. So that's why it's always important to basically like keep an ear out for all these things because all this stuff is changing. Things are being proposed. Things are being changed. Yeah, see, because this, hold on, is this what I was looking for? I'm not sure if these are the proposed changes that they were saying. Common due dates and for parts 3 and 4, administrative practices and procedures, claims related to pension. So this is something that they posted. The thing is like I don't see where. Because it's the proposed rule is AQ73. Proposed rule schedule for ratings, disabilities, neurological conditions, and convulsive disorders. The thing is that's the thing. So you have proposed rules and those get published. The thing is then it allows people to comment on them, but then they have like a shut off date of when you can't comment them anymore. I'm trying to find the proposed. They're trying to propose all sorts of shit. The thing is like this is so bogged down with all the stuff that gets thrown in there. See, because even some of these propositions are to add certain things to the CFR. So it's like regulations.gov gives you stuff. The thing is it's proposed rules. So you'll see a lot of the proposed, they propose this, they propose that. And then it's just like, okay, is this going to happen? Is it not going to happen? And that becomes the biggest issue. So I need to make a filter for that. Transform. Sometimes not really. But yeah, that's the thing. There's a bunch of changes, and that's why it's just like it's important to pay attention to it because a lot of these are proposed, but then there's the actual rules, and then there's supporting and related material to those things that are being implemented. So it's depending on you highlighting it, going to it, and then sectioning out like, okay, veterans employment and training services, Department of Veteran Affairs. You just highlight those things because then it'll section them out and then it'll show you. So then it'll show you the rules, materials, and proposed rules for Department of Veteran Affairs. So right now they have 600 rules, and then they have 330 proposed rules. And then you can put them from newer to older. Then it has the comments that people can comment on them. They got a proposed rule adjudication for disability or death benefit claims based on toxic exposure. The special provisions regarding evaluation of respiratory conditions, schedule for rating disabilities, respiratory system. Proposed rule monthly assistance allowance for veterans in the United States Olympic or Paralympic events. Check hearing. Because the proposed rule that I see for neurological conditions and convulsive disorders. I see that proposed rule, but it goes over musculospiral nerve, circumflex nerve, external populate nerve, musculocutaneous nerve, anterior tibial nerve. It just goes over that. For that. Then it has the guidance for rating organic diseases for central nervous systems. And then it gives you like a breakdown of if you have it, what it is that they're gonna rate it as. Let's see. See, because it's hard to filter it down even more because it just gives you a very generalized thing. Because there's no final rule I see in that. Because the thing is it still falls under, everything still falls under proposed. Because they have that, and that was posted November 12th of 2024. The respiratory conditions one was February 15th, 2022. No, he was asking about the examination process. So he was asking like what the examination process entails. Like if I had any knowledge of how the process of going through it goes. Not how to rate it, but more so like any information as to how they go about the process of evaluating you through the TBI process. So same thing I just looked at. Let's get rid of this whole fucking hearing thing. Let's go back to the docket. Dockets. Go to break it down by Department of Veteran Affairs. And that's a in-depth. That's a pretty in-depth analysis there. That they go. You go through eye exam, ear exam, neuro exam, neuropsych exam, and then the MRI and CT results. Does it have the fully approximate priority? Major rule. Is that the same one I just looked at? Yes, it is. It's twice I did that. AQ72. See, because that's what I tell people. They've had the same proposed rule for the changes of mental health evaluation since February 15th of 2022. It's been the same thing proposed. There has not been any update to it. So they've been talking about this since 2022, and it's already been 3 years since they've been talking about making this change to mental health. Here's the page. This is the page, so that way if anybody wants to like read into what the proposed changes might be, that's the link right there so that you can check out what the proposed issues may be. That's the proposed possible changes. So that's what they're proposing to change the mental health ratings to. And you got comments. the thing is it's interesting. I don't know who gets to comment on these things, but basically when they make one of these proposed rules changes, it says, hey, you have to submit your comments by said date. So literally, if somebody wants to chime in on it, you have to do it within that certain time. Because there's 826 comments on that thread line for that, but everything ends on April 19th, 2022. Yeah, and that'll go through medical records. So if you have any like police records, even buddy statements help with that also to paint the picture so that way they can associate what time you were there, who was there around you, who else could have witnessed this, and who else can provide input for it. Let me see something. Now that I open that PDF, would that highlight it and show it? Yes, it does do it. Okay, so I need to make a button for that. I'm gonna start running all these buttons I need to recreate. But yeah, because I have that, so at least I know I need to do that. Okay, so I have that button to switch between when it's a veteran workshop or it's a Q&A, then going from if it is the Google Chrome browser to an Adobe PDF. Change that so that way I can switch between those two, and I need a button for that. So it'll probably be like a multi-switch I create. What else? I see the messages are working because it's going through the private Just Cruise, which is the backup account. So that's coming in and that's filtering in. So at least I know I can put messages through there also. What I need to fix is the VA forms. So I have to create all the buttons for the VA form so that if people ask for a specific VA form, I have it created. So that way I could just insert it and it'll type it out to both. Same thing with the DBQs. I'll have buttons for that also. Stuff that I had before that I basically lost with the crashing of this computer. Okay. Yep, there you go. Annette is a well of knowledge. There's a lot of information Annette can provide. So as always, Annette, thank you for being a member of the channel, and thank you for always contributing and assisting me with helping teach and guide veterans. Trying to see what else I can create because I got the main share thing, and the thing is also. But we are also going to develop a little gaming thing so that people. I spoke with JC about this earlier about trying to do like a fantasy draft or something like that. That I'll have to see how I can set it up, and I'll probably try to see for football season. I'll probably start that. Um, and then a lot of people get exposed to stuff they just don't know it. A lot of people are around stuff and they just don't know it. Shit, the amount of radiation that people are around that don't even know. Stuff that has radioactive isotopes, people don't know. Stuff that they work with, just inhaling fumes the whole damn time isn't fucking healthy for you also. Like for fuelers. Fuelers, it's not healthy to inhale fumes all the time and be around fuel the whole time. That's not healthy. But it's just like it's only with time that it decides for them to actually figure these things out and be like, you know what? We gotta change this. Or we gotta make a change to it. But yeah, that was the proposed rule scheduling for mental health. Inhaling mold, jet fuel. Yep. The mold one I think is the biggest thing because of the fact that everybody got some fucking mold. Soldiers now is still getting mold. The fact that they had to make such a big issue to start rebuilding and renovating all of these older buildings because of all the mold, that alone is just like people need to start writing that shit down and be like, look, my building was fucking condemned because of it. I appreciate you, Grip. I'm glad I was able to help you get there. Appreciate that. That's always the good stuff to see. That's always the best thing to see when I was able to assist somebody and help them get there. That's what I love to hear. That makes my day. That makes my day right there. Glad it helped you get there. Like I said, it's just being able to teach people and being able to learn this stuff. Once you start learning the stuff, it makes it easier. Because then it's just being able to tell people like, imagine you filing without the information you obtained. That's what I tend to tell people sometimes. Imagine you filing without all the knowledge you gained just by somebody just showing you where you can find this information. It's crazy. It's crazy to go through it that way, but it's the best part about it. Yeah, that's it, y'all. Like I can't. We're still waiting on these action dates. We're still waiting on this stuff. We're still waiting on the sleep apnea and all that stuff to change. It's like all this stuff has been proposed and been talked about since 2022, and nothing has come of it yet. So it's like until that stuff isn't there, we can't. There's nothing that can be done until we actually find all this documentation and it goes into the CFR and the VA publishes it. Because they're gonna publish it and it's gonna come out. Nice. Nice. Is this the one for sleep apnea? No, right? Yeah, because the other one is just going through the Mennoniers. Where's the part about tinnitus? That's what I'm trying to find. Because that's what it is with a lot of these. It's just like proposed changes. So I don't like it's good to inform yourself and read these proposed changes, but the thing is a lot of these proposed changes have been out for years now. Thing is there's development in different treatments. There's development in different medications now. And the thing is stuff has improved. So that's why it's just like yes, there's mental health changes coming, but there's also mental health programs and things that are being used to improve the symptoms and improve the situations, like the rapid eye movement thing for PTSD. That's something that's developed and being used, and it's growing. And for some veterans, it's saying it does work. For some, it say it doesn't work. But it's something that it's still there that can be used as a way of alleviating stuff. Because the way you got to look at it is like, look, if your issues aren't static, meaning the VA knows they're going to get worse, you still have the ability to get reevaluated. I know people will be like, hey, you're 100% P and T and stuff like that, but right now, the way things are going, there can be changes. Changes were already said that they don't want to make. Changes were already proposed and have been spoken about of them not wanting to pay secondary claims. So, like Grip, he's going through the secondaries to get himself a higher claim. If these changes are allowed to happen, which they have spoken about and want to happen through at least Project 2025, which that's here or there, but it would still have to go through regulations.gov. It would still have to be implemented and proposed through here, and then it would be visible to see, hey, this is something that they want to change, because it's basically changing the regulation that covers these things. So when it comes to audiology, it comes to sleep apnea, it comes to mental health, these are things that are proposed, but it usually takes years for this to happen because they have to do all the research to verify, double check, and double check again to make sure, like, hey, this is populating correctly. All right, if we are going to change this diagnostic code to this, what does it cover? Oh, so this diagnostic code is specifically for this. The rating criteria is now specifically for that. Because the thing is once they make this change, this is going to affect a lot of people. It's going to change. It's going to affect a lot of people. So if people are going through the process or already past the process, that's one thing. If you already passed the process and got it done, rating changes and regulation changes basically sometimes don't really mean much to those people when that happens. But then it's those people that may be in the process or maybe waiting to get documentation or maybe waiting to get that file done. That's where you run into that problem. Why did so many messages come? I gotta change that. I don't want that many messages popping up like this. So it came out on all three. So so timing wise, I have to change these because I have that for 35 minutes. Sugar. That one's every 22 minutes. Don't hesitate to ask. Well, I guess all those times just managed to mix in, I guess you can say. But that's basically it there. But all these changes, it's gonna affect people. If you're waiting on documentation and you're waiting to file, my thing is if you can file now and you have your documentation, you have everything you need, go ahead and do so now. Or at least have that intent to file date now so that you have it in place and it's like a placeholder for that date. Then you can throw in all your information and stuff like that, but the intent to file stays there. Don't wait, because the thing is if you have that intent to file, at least you filed it prior to any of these possible changes. Which, like I put it in there. Let's see if I'll put it there again. For basically to use the evaluations of what the mental health range changes may be. And you can look at that, sit down, read that, and see what it says, and say, hey, maybe my disability rating may go up if I wait, or maybe it doesn't. The way I see it is if you have that social impairment and that work impairment already, there's no need to wait for changes. Because this is going to be a more, I would say it's a more defined way of rating what you're dealing with, as compared to, which I think is better for that fact because it's more detailed and it tells you what it is that is going to cause what, as compared to this one where it was just like total impairment, partial social impairment, or only impaired here, like all that stuff that makes a big difference when it comes to that. So those are things that need to be like, you need to make sure you're evaluating and checking. So all right, let's see. So I got this one. This one would be here. So the just chatting screen, because it'd be just chat, but then I also have to add this here. Make this smaller. Yeah, but I think that'll be it for today, y'all. Got some work done. Appreciate y'all tuning in, listening to me complain about my time while serving. Um, we'll do our workshop tomorrow. It may be like this. I'm gonna try to do as much as I can today. I have gotten some progress done with updating some of the stuff and being able to at least show like the video and stuff, like, so I'll be able to show at least the thing. Everything else may not be in work, but I might work through it there. But we might just go over like just this regulations.gov and actually go over the proposed changes. I think that would probably be the best thing for it, so that way people have a understanding of like, hey, this is what people have been talking about for the last 3 fucking years, that has been down the line and is about to happen. Because remember, it got changed to August now. So that'll probably be what we do tomorrow. We'll just go over that and let people become more aware of the regulations.gov so that they understand that this is what's available to them to use. So, Grip, I appreciate the super chat. Annette, appreciate you being a member. Thank you for always tuning in. Thank you for always assisting. JC, appreciate you. Hope everything goes well with you in your examinations. But yeah, we'll leave it at that, and we'll just hang out tomorrow, do the workshop. It'll be probably the same thing. I'll probably try to keep it. Workshops are not going to be as long. We'll try to shorten them, maybe like to an hour and a half or something like that. Maybe this is the range of time that we're probably going to do, an hour to 2 hours. If it's like the walk I did yesterday, that'll be like a short whenever I'm done with the walk kind of thing. But we'll keep on doing this. And like I said, once I'm done with schoolwork, y'all gonna see my face a lot more. Y'all gonna see a lot more videos coming out, because then it's just I got time to concentrate on only making that stuff. So have a good Saturday. Have a good rest of your weekend. If I don't see y'all tomorrow, have a great Sunday. If I do see you tomorrow, 12 noon as always. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for the support. Thank you for assisting and helping other veterans and making veterans better lives. Veterans lives better. I can't even talk. I need food. That's why I need to go. So my back is starting to kill me. But I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.